Good morning. Welcome to the world of conscious positive thinking with MJ, where your thoughts become your power and your mindset becomes your compass. MJ is here to guide you through a journey of self-awareness, emotional mastery, and empowered living.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Want to make
Yeah, man. Just feel it. Let it flow. Peace and love in the air, you know. Woke up with the sun on my face. Breathing deep in this holy space. Feeling good, no need to race. The rhythm of life moves at its pace. Good vibes rise like smoke in the sky. Love in our hearts, no need to ask why. Dance with the trees, sing with the breeze. The world of conscience puts the mind at ease. Colors swirl in my open mind. Truth and joy in the thoughts I find. A smile's the cure, a word's the key. Positive thinking sets you free. Good vibes rise like smoke in the sky. Love in our heart.
I don't know why, but they always cut that song off. We got to fix it. Maybe tomorrow in my meetings we can fix that. But get that jam, get that jive. May the 4th be with you today. The 4th. I don't know. Time is flying like no tomorrow, but who's keeping track of time, right? Because we all live in the moment, in the present. We live in the now. So the now means what? So now means good morning, good morning, good morning. I am MJ in the world of conscious positive thinking right here on Military Broadcast Radio or mbradio.us. You can find us on any streaming outlet. Whenever you want to say, oh, I wonder what MJ's doing, shut it all in there, right? And you'll be able to catch us either on TWOCPT or the World of Conscious Positive Thinking. That's out there, RMBR, Roku, Livestream, Fire Stick. And we wouldn't be here without Dunkin' Donuts and Jersey Mike's and all the rest of the people who support us here. And I have to say that because may that 4th always be with us, with you, and with anybody who is in turmoil. So we are, today. It is number 71, episode number 71. And we are doing a rough one. Trust, truth, and the return to self. That's a big one. Trust, truth, and return to self. Why? Because I think when you come into your truths and your trusts, it's all heart space. It all hurts. You know, you're like, grown men don't cry. Oh, yes, we do. Grown women don't cry. Oh, yes, we do. Right? This is heart space. Trust is a huge one. It's big. So let's start by seeing what today brings for all of us. Today is May the 4th and the year is 26. So 050426. And we will look up this number. We'll see what that number means. So that number means that we are resulting in a number 8. The number 8 is highly fortunate. The angels bring you this sign to reassure you that abundance on all levels is your birthright. Allow the angels to connect with you on the infinite flow of abundance and prosperity from the angelic vault of heaven. And what do we say? Thank you. Thank you. With grace and humility, thank you. Angel power word today, what is it? Evolve. Well, if people are feeling that shift and you got the beautiful, beautiful moon today, on May 1st, actually. So we're coming out of it. It's the flower moon, but we're still trucking along with her beauty at night, gleaming in our windows. So we're evolving. We're taking that shift, just like moon energy shift. We take that shift, and when we take it, whether it's hard for us, easier for us, feeling that shift coming through, the change, what's going to happen. If we fight change or we fight the evolve, what happens? Oof, we suffer. We suffer with truth and trust and awareness, and we might miss out on our abundance. So, power word, evolve, make a change. Yeah, change is scary, but still make that change, okay? Inside of that number contains the number 50. The change that you are experiencing at this point in time are heaven sent. You are mastering higher energies on the earth plane, and you are evolving into a purpose-driven spiritual light worker. The world is ready for you to spread your unique love and light. Oh, how beautiful is that? Good morning, Battle. Good morning to you, sir. Our next series of the angel numbers is number 26. We get that every time. Why? Because 26 is very prominent, making an 8 infinite. So the angels now know that you feeling empowered when you feel compassion, my word of the year, for others. They now ask that you feel the same compassion for yourself. It is very important that you say no to requests that make you feel uneasy. Trust these sensations in your body, and these are your inner compass. How beautiful to start the morning. I don't know. I see that Jules, he's popped up here. So, Battle, I have fairies. I don't know if everybody can see the fairies in my hair. I have these beautiful fairies in lighting. I have no idea. It's a TWOCPT thing. MJ is not IT, nothing. But you can see the little fairies flying around the screens. So if you like those little fairies flying around, that's great. If it's annoying you, I'm really sorry. I'll figure out why that's there and how to fix that when we go on break. So a little bit of things. So at break, you're going to hear a couple of songs that Miss Amber did for this show. I'm going to say probably back in September or October, and we never got to put things together. She's also the one who helped put together the one that you hear now, just kind of cuts off. So these are all going to, you're going to be able to hear them, and maybe we'll make some commercials and we can have those as a cute little jingle. And then, then we get into this beautiful May month. It is the honoring of our military. I understand. We also have, at the end of the month, we have our memorial, leading all into our beautiful celebration of the 250th anniversary. So love your country, love God, man, and our country, right? There we go. Okay. I think that's all the notes. Oh, yes. So next week, Monday, I'm going to do a rundown of all of the shows. I think it's from like 34 or 35 on to here. I'm going to give you a rundown because I'll be here my second year anniversary at MBR. So we'll do the rundown every year. We just do a rundown of the shows and kind of like little highlights and see how much fun we had there. So that is our show for next week. So if you missed out on the shows and you want to try to catch up or you can't figure out, there was one show on my channel that was out of rotation. I can't speak for MBR, but on my YouTube, I have one that was not able to go under live. So if you just go under videos, you'll see number 68 is kind of pushed to the side and go onward. Okay. Big old deep breath, big old deep breath, big old deep breath. Big old deep breath. Take another one. Take another one. Hold it. Let it out with all your might. That's your center. It's a rough one today, but we're going to find our center. We're talking about trust, truth, and the return to self. Okay. This might help all you shapeshifters out there who are trying to figure out the energy. So you beautiful souls, welcome. If this is your first time, we're going to try some energy patterns that's going on. You might know of some of these in your own self journey or those in around you. And so maybe some of these things can help. So wherever you are at the moment, whether you're very grounded, you're searching, you're questioning, or you're just simply listening, you are exactly where you are meant to be. I want to say that again. No matter what is going on, you at any time, at any moment, at any space are making those choices of your life journey. And you must trust that where you are meant to be. No more of, well, I was at the right place at the right time. No, you always are. You are always at the right place at the right time, right? It is your destiny. It's your destination of your journey that you were granted that to move through. So pick it up and graciously and with humility say, thank you. Thank you so much for divine allowing this to be, because divine energy is the best energy and I want you to trust it. And we're going to have to go through, yes, all of these different things, because today we're going to stepping into something that touches every layer of our existence. If your feet are on this planet, it is your existence, and it is called trust. We need to trust in people. We need to trust in the systems, and we need to trust in ourselves. They're the ones. Trust, truth, and returning to self. Absolutely. Good morning. Wow. Good morning, Jose. Much love to you in this awesome energy. Yes, this is where we are supposed to be. Yes, Jose. Good morning, Tony. Oh, football season is almost upon us. I'm so easy and eager to get back to your channel, Tony. I hope, and I don't hope, I pray with divine energy that those Hoosiers, you go Hoosiers. We are. Anyway, happy to see you guys. These are all DJs at Military Broadcast Radio, where a united family always comes together and supports those who are in the broadcasting area. Okay, trust, truth, and returning to self. The deeper question I want you to keep asking yourself is, can we trust that our existence holds meaning beyond what we physically see? Well, that's a deep one. This conversation is just not here to tell you what to believe in. It is here to open up that space. It is here that where we can feel, we can reflect, and we can always remember. Remember is a product of unhealedness until when we remember, we are no longer sad and we regain the trust and understand our part, their part, alignment, balance to heal, love, let go. So, gonna be tough, but it's okay because we're gonna breathe through it, right? We're gonna find our center. So settle in, allow your minds to now soften up, to become aware. Good morning, Janet. Allow that spirit to rise within. Nose breathing, breathe in the nose again. Hold it. Let that out every morsel. I want you to do it on your own. Keep breathing in till there is absolutely no more room in those capacities of that body space. And then I need you to let it out, because when you do that, you will feel how centered you get. Anytime you're angry, anytime you're confused, anytime you're anxious, anytime that you're worried, anytime that you have fear, because all of those revolve around, and you got it, trust. So breathe in the nose, keep breathing in, keep breathing. So you have no more room to breathe in, hold it. Out your mouth as much as possible. Now, when you are in a your PTSD attacks or your anxiety attacks or your huge fear attacks, I want you to breathe in and out your nose, not your mouth, right? That's what you need to do. But here, to find center, this is where we are. Okay. So what is trust? Really, what is it? People, do you realize what the word trust means? I don't think there's some people, I think they forget what involves around trust. When you tell another person, oh, you don't trust me. How come you don't trust me? Really? Did I give you something not to trust? Yeah, you heard that before? I've heard that before. I have. Because I want to say something and then I stop talking and they're like, what? And I'm like, I just, you know what? It's better off not being said. No, you can trust me. It's not about that. It's about honoring. Maybe somebody told me something in a trust fashion, right? That I was getting ready to blah, 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 blah in just casual conversation. See how that works? It's the trust component. It is the trust that we need. It is that beautiful trust component that actually brings people knowing you're not going to talk about them, right? Because two or more people talking about somebody negatively not only lowers your vibe, it lowers theirs even worse. And you want the person to rise so you don't have these hiccups. So be mindful what we're doing, right? So the word trust is a belief or it's a confidence that someone or something is reliable, honest, and will act as expected in what you are requesting. In simpler terms, it means expecting others to tell the truth and keep their promises. It also is feeling safe, relying on someone or something. And then lastly, but not totally, would be being willing to be vulnerable because you believe the other party won't harm you. That's a big one. Being willing to be vulnerable because you believe the other party won't harm you. Okay. Here's an example of this trust. If you lend a friend money and you believe that your friend will pay you back, that belief is now, that energy is trust. Because it's an energy of belief in something that you've expected. It's a belief in something that you honored. You become vulnerable. Why? Because you believe in that faith of trust in that person. Right? So trust then would say, I know my friend will pay me back. Now, what happens when that friend doesn't pay you back? So what are we doing here? Now we have to figure this out. And there is this lesson of today. What do we do with that? Hold on to that thought. We're going to come back to it. So trust can apply to people, your friends, your family, your bosses, your leaders, right? Trust can also go through your systems, right? Your governments, local, state, federal, national, world. Goes into your banking systems. It goes into your technology. These are all systems, right? These are systems that when they evolve, this is what creates this little bit of a friction, right? Because it's new. If it's new, who's to say it's going to work? If it's old, well, there has to be another solution. There we go. There's the systems. What's working, what doesn't. And now yourself. Self-trust or confidence in your decisions. That's a biggie. How many people out there now? How many are you out there who says, oh, I don't know. I mean, I should always go with my gut, my first gut impression, but then my mind carries and I have all these other, well, maybe, if, maybe, if. So you taking a test, trust the knowledge based on what you've learned. Your mind is more than a genius operation machine, because if they read something, the Rolodex will pop it up and it will give it to you. So what do? We don't trust ourselves, so we sabotage ourselves in tests, changing our answer, going to the other one, and getting it wrong. Yes, trust in yourself. That's a biggie. It usually develops over time through consistent, honest, and dependable behavior. Honestly, all of those will, in time, you'll develop those trust systems. You'll develop those boundaries and those borders. Not to say you won't have an event that might shock you on those boundaries and borders of your trust and what you have already experienced. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So trust has a very quiet, but yet powerful influence on both the ego and our judgment. You always hear me talk. If more people would become aware of ego and judgment on all aspects, there would be less dysfunction. There'll be more balance. There'll be more alignment. However, going through this evolving process, this shifting of energy process, these are what we call old belief systems, right? And then I was going to say, do I have another hand? I have no arm. Well, that was fun. I must trust that I have an arm somewhere. If you can't see this, I don't know what is going on with technology today in either my house, the studio, or what, but I have two hands and no arms. I'm sure it's the green screen process, but I was like, oh my God, what happened to my arm? I have to trust that I have an arm here. There is, but you can't see it. This is a good, oh, thank you, Divine. This is why the technology is out, because we need to teach this. So here, I must trust that my hand is connected to an arm, though I cannot see my arm, right? And nor can you, but I must trust that there is an arm here somewhere, right? You are where you're meant to be. Nothing is a coincidence, right? Yeah, so I trust that whenever I have these beautiful little fairies beep bopping in my pictures and stuff, I have no idea, but I trust they're there for a reason, and I just found it. See, if more of us would trust, even though we're like, oh, what is that? Because it's not perfect in your eye. Now your self-trust diminishes. I trust it's how it's supposed to be. I trust and I have faith that I am here to learn something, to love something, or to move through it, right? I either have an event I have to learn, or I just must love whatever it is because I called it back. Or the last one is, I see this energy, I understand this energy, and I'm just going to plow myself through it, right? Because to me, I'm fine. I'm okay at the moment. Does that all make sense? Okay. So we're back on shaping our ego and judgment, which brought it all to that, and shaping how we see ourselves and how we interpret the world around us. Yes, yes. So on a grounded perspective, it is important to recognize that not all distrust is unhealthy. Discernment is very necessary. Trust does not mean ignoring patterns or red flags. It simply just means choosing openness where it is earned. Okay? All while still honoring your awareness. All the whole while. Remember, last week we said one of the most important things of finding alignment and balance is becoming aware of air. There's more air on this earth than there's water or land. Air. Become aware of air. You can see it. And when you finally are like, oh my gosh, I can see air. Yes, you can. Then you have come into the state bridging an existential spirituality into a consciousness of a holy divine energy when you can see air. Your vibration just exists because you're very grounded and understand it's not something for me to get angry, upset, or any negative emotions. Any event that plays out, even if air is responsible for increasing my fire levels and then causing that air, because fire can't without air. Our waters can't without air. Our soils can't without air. Air is so important. It's so important. And so the observance, the awareness of choosing and honoring your awareness. I love it. I love it. So now we're going to go back into a more thought about trust, and then we're going to take a break. Okay, so let's just do a centering thought. Trust is not about blind belief. It's about alignment between what you feel, what you see, and what is consistently shown to you over time, right? Time, life experience, right? It's about that alignment. Trust is often spoken about as belief in another person. Though trust runs much deeper than that. It truly does. It's not just about a belief in another. It's about a system. It's about you. It is truly what you see, what you feel, what you hear, our sensories. Trust is an internal agreement. It is a moment your mind, body, and spirit just allow it. I feel safe enough to allow. I feel safe enough to allow. Remember these things. And when that safety is then present or something opens, then that safety now becomes broken. Something closes. What is it? This is not weakness. This is awareness. Trust is not blind. Trust is responsive. It listens. It learns. It remembers. Breathe. We're going to let that pause in. I'm going to play you one of these beautiful songs that they were having. And then when we come back, we're going to go straight in to trust and the ego. So let me go down here. And of course, we have to play Little Beaker Man. So enjoy. This is called Tune Into Light. And again, this was created. I'm thinking through some program that Amber has, but she has to put everything in. So here we go.
Peace, love, light. Let your soul rise. Wake up, beautiful child of the sun. Your journey of truth has already begun. Thoughts are the seeds, so plant them kind. The garden of heaven lives in your mind. Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eyesight. Tune into the light. MJ whispers in waves of sound. Messages rising from sacred ground. Words like incense drift through the air. You are divine, be fully aware. Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eyesight. Tune into the light. Your thoughts are keys. Your breath is prayer. You are the healer you've been waiting for. Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.web.
Hey, welcome back. Well, I hope you enjoyed that song. It is about the show, so got to figure out how to put a little ding ding together, or kind of put it over, I don't know, different shots of the studios. I don't know, something, but it's fun. And again, thank you so much for those beautiful words. Okay, here we go. Let's keep moving, because now we're going to go trust and the ego. Whew, this is powerful. So our core message, ego always says that ego wants to protect us. We know better, right? Our ego half the time, actually more than half the time, more than probably 90% of the time, wants to make us suffer. It wants to push us back instead of just pushing through the energy and dealing with whatever the event is. That bugger of an ego. I don't know. I could have said something, I guess, really powerful, but I just chose bugger, right? What a bugger. So, and then our core message also is our judgment. And it equals a really fast protection, right? So our judgment is always a quick survival tactic, right? Because you're either going to sink or swim. You have to get a judgment quickly and move through that energy. And then, of course, fear underneath everything else. These are the core messages that we're going to go into. So the ego is part of us that seeks identity. It doesn't like not having its own identity, its protection, and its control. This is truly, here you go. How good is ego? Trust can either soften it or cause it to tighten and cause us all kind of emotional debacles. Just debacles. So that beautiful little ego, we trained it so beautifully growing up all these years. And now we need to untrain it. And it's possible. It takes some work, but it's possible. Sometimes people say it's harder than getting off nicotine. I don't believe it, because I came off of nicotine. And this, to me, knowing that the pain, the pain body or the suffrage that I had before knowing how to balance and interpret positive, it kept me in this bubble of depressions and sadness and just anger and resentments. How to let that go? I felt like I was angry at the world. I walked around with my one master should be so happy I said this, my bitch face. I guess I have a perfect soldier bitch face. See that block there? I dare you. I don't know. But that was my energy, right? That was my adolescence. That was my young adulthood as a soldier. Boom, right? Fight or flight. One of the two. I'm a fighter. I'm a U.S. Air Force. I was a fighter. I'll take off. I don't need the problems. However, I never fixed the problems. I just took off. Out of sight, out of mind. Right? The Italian, let's sweep it under the carpet and then put it down. It doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. I wish it would, but sometimes it doesn't. So when trust is present, the ego relaxes. When you feel safe within your walls and your boundaries and those people, your ego doesn't have to even work that day. It's over there having a margarita. that ego's right there going, you got this. They're good people, right? So Mr. Ego having a margarita over there taking his day off allows us to be free. It allows us to less need a purpose for defending ourselves or proving ourselves or controlling our outcomes, right? Because you feel that secureness. You feel enough to be that open because who or whomever is around you, the energy that you're embracing is making that trust, that pedal of the heart, that trust pedal, very relaxed, having a siesta, no problems in the world, that God is there. Archangel Michael army. Yes, that is pure, beautiful trust without ego. It is beautiful. You feel secure. You feel open to listen, to allow others to show up as they are and who they are with no judgment against them either. That is a beautiful space to be. That is, I think there's some people who they love that energy space. They don't ever want to come out of it. I have masters who love that energetic space. And it doesn't matter. There is nothing until 11 o'clock. That is her time. Because that ignites the soul. It ignites the beauty of the belief system, of the trust that God embraces us. The healers, the light workers, the people who want to be service to others. When that trust is broken, though, or absent, here comes this ego, like a lion, roaring like a lion, right? The ego steps in as a guard. How dare you? Put that mask up. It may become defensive, skeptical, critical, or even prideful. This is not random. It is protective. Remember, I told you the ego thinks it's protecting and guarding you, right? Mr. over there having this margarita heyday, but now something comes up. Now he has to drop it. Now he's all confuffled. And he's like, oh, wait a minute. Put those brakes on. Oh, I love ego, right? And then you have to sit there and you're like, wait a minute. Where did you come from? I wasn't that angry just a couple minutes ago. Just because he said that? Oh, no. Right? And if you are angry and that ego plays that role, now we got work to do. Now we have a trust issue and an event on top of the trust issue. Now it's going to get deep. So it may become, like I told you, defensive, skeptical, even prideful. Listen to the words and tones that are coming out of our mouth. And this is not random. It's not. The ego is trying to prevent further harm by creating that distance or that control immediately. So when it can control, it's trying to control you anyway, right? You can stop it. You have every ounce of your energy, and I know you do. I know when you listen, I know you have the energy to do it. You can tap it. Oh, I don't think so. Or, you can go through your tappings, right? There are all those techniques. We talked about them. We'll go back and through them, but this isn't right now because we got to learn about this trust guy, this truth and trust thing. So when we start doing those things, right? Now you're like, no, that's not, I don't feel that way. Sorry. No. Breathe it, tap it. No, this is my center. Nope, can't be me. That's the easiest, quickest way to get it out of there. Now, if something sparks you of an unawareness, ask yourself, did you ask? Were you aware that was even an event? Don't just push blame, because that will break the trust. Honor your part about that. Honor your part going, you're right, I have not been in touch. And you're right, maybe I should be more in touch. And you're right, I extremely apologize that I was so self-absorbed that I didn't see this. My apologies. Your part, maybe it might lead into the other person's part who says, oh, I get it. I understand because I don't know where time goes these days. Two parts meeting conjointly pushes the ego back out because we didn't fight it. So the ego coming in like this, and then the ego coming, wait, pause, back it up, process this. Okay. So this is when we act, that trust acts like a signal to that ego. Are you safe? Right? Openness. Are you safe? And you are not safe. Protection mode. That's the two ways our ego. Are we safe? Oh, okay. Are we not safe? Oh, protection. That's it. The ego can only do that because we're not into the super ego or the id. We're just here, the ego of trust. So that becomes whether or not you feel safe or you don't feel safe. The people, and that is now you're going to be able to feel that energy. And you're going to be able to go, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why? Because that energy, that purposeful energy, fight or flight mode, right? Pain body mode, is telling us something. It's a signal. It's a retriever for us to say, oh, wait a minute. What is this discussion about? Why did I just get upset when that person came into our discussion out of nowhere? Or that topic came up, which was not on the agendas? Or who did I left him to do that when I wasn't here? Fight or flight. What are you going to do? How are we going to heal it? Tame your ego for trusting. I trust that this event is going to give me an education of moving forward and an experience in life to move forward. These are just little bits and factors that you can perceive of how that movement goes. Okay. So with ego comes, you got it, judgment. So trust and judgment. Oh, this is where sometimes, right, we have to trust our judgment, trust our mouths, trust our thought processes, trust what we're seeing, hearing, smelling, right? God gave us our sensories, so we're going to use all of our sensories to come up with a non-negate or lower vibrational judgment. Thou shalt not judge. It's in every denominational religion, anything that you study. You may not judge another being. They're in their own journey. They're in their own lesson. This is another big issue that divides because of trust in judgments. So releasing judgment and returning to trust. Huge. Judgment is how we assess people. Isn't that sad? Our judgment. Our judgment is also how we assess situations and assess our choices. It's all through judgment. Trust directly colors that lens. Trust directly colors that lens. With trust, judgment becomes more balanced and compassionable. There's my word, compassion. You are more likely to give others that benefit of the doubt, to pause before reacting, and then to seek that understanding. But when you don't have trust, then that judgment can become sharper and quicker. And then assumptions replace curiosity. And then you may read intentions negatively. If you're all fired up, right, and you're reading something, you're going to take the negative. Do you ever hear somebody going, wait, you have a text, and you're like, wait, really? You're going to say that to me? And someone's going to go, oh my God, forgive me. I'm so sorry. I understand that the English language and the English words, when you don't have intonations or body language or the energy fields around it, you could take that no matter what. Why? Because that's the interpretation. Look, how many Bibles? Over 4,000 Christian Bibles, the interpretation. The Egyptians, every time they're finding something, they're realizing that wasn't the word, then they have to change the whole dynamic. The awareness and trusting what is given. Don't add your interpretation of your own personal experience, because that's where then the trust breaks. You have an experience, but because you have the experience, you are familiar with the energy. You're familiar with this experience. Now, for your personal journey in this energy of experience or this event, this is what you did. You could advise. However, every dynamic of the same energy can spiral, I say 360 degrees angles of perspective. That's a lot. And there's probably many more. But I just, for a metaphor, 360 different ways? Really? I'm going to choose radial 19 on the positive side. I don't want to choose anything over here in the 200s, They're on the negative sides. And maybe it's going to force us there, right? But that would be your learning lesson. So you can say, this is a little bit different. However, I experienced something very familiar. Yes, this is where our governed bodies, this is where our akashics, our aesthetics can move forward, right? Okay. Without trust, judgment can become sharper and quicker. Assumptions replace curiosity, and you may read intentions negatively, even when they are neutral and very and or clear or unclear. Right. I can't speak for any other languages. My brain does not allow me to figure out other languages for whatever reason. When it's time, I guess it will allow. But until then, the only language I know is English with 4 years of Latin. And Latin is a derivative of all the main directives of words in different languages. So I try to muster my way through. Anyway, a lack of trust often leads to over-analyzing motives. How many of you out there, somebody's told you, oh my God, you're over-analyzing, let it go. Stop over-analyzing this. But you can't let it go. That's me. You can't. I'm a why girl. There's a why. There's something we're missing. And I don't want to come back to this moment ever again. I want love. I don't want hiccups in my path. So I'm going to overanalyze. A lack of trust means I'm going to overanalyze. So I had this huge lack of trust. I'm going to stop for a minute. I'm going to take a time out because I want everybody to understand why I did trust, truth, and return to self. You see so much division that you don't trust what you read. You don't trust what you see because of AI, right? There's a lot of trust factors going on here with technology and our systems. The whole systems right now is taking a huge upgrade or a huge shift. However you want to look at it, it is taking it. I don't want to hear politics. It is just in the world over. Even the energies of Schumann's resonance on the planets, right? You can study the energy frequencies of a planet, you can study the energy frequencies of a universe. You can study frequency energies in total. It is the rhyme and reason of energy that things happen. The rhyme and reason of existence going forward, a virtual movement going forward. Some of us depart the earth and some of us remain. Those who depart, whether you find a horrific death or sadness of death, death is not sad. Death is a happiness to go back home to my creator, my father, mother, God. I don't fear death. I don't. In fact, one day, I think I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I couldn't figure out anything I feared. I would walk. My mom used to say I would walk on the edge like the fool, right? I walk on the edge because I have faith. I walk on the edge because I trust. And I walk on the edge because it's my truth. That I am neither here nor there. I am right in where I'm supposed to be, right in the middle. So that was bothersome to me because what did I fear? I had no fear. People come in with fear. Did I conquer my fears? And this is where I could just live in free? Where was that? Like I had to really dig this up because this was truly, in retrospect, my hiccup in life. I was taught as a child to trust everybody because of where I grew up. I didn't have that fear. And if my parents had the fear, they really didn't show it. They honored and trusted God that would protect me, I guess. Because growing up where I grew up, I had to come down when the street light came on. Where I grew up, trust me, there's not very many street lights. So if it comes on in the middle of darkness, you're going to see that light come on. You're going to get your butt home. So these are all, like I said, I'm getting off, but trust. I trust. Overanalyzing, the why girl. The why girl sometimes gets me in trouble. I'll admit it. Sometimes the why girl plays a part where, she obviously has a lot of life lessons to learn because she's going to open up that Pandora box and here comes all her little tricks. and you're going to go, oh, and I wanted to know why? Yes, I did. And you should too. I should. You should want. No, it's not a should. That's a demand. You may find it fun to open up the why box sometimes. I don't know. So, okay. The lack of trust often leads to then expecting disappointment, right? So imagine whatever event you're at, you're trusting all these people and they don't want to tell you the information. They don't want you to be disappointed. So they try to hide it. But what are they really doing? They're really causing more confusion and hiding the truth. And then they can say, well, you didn't ask. Isn't that what I just said? Well, you didn't ask. That's one of the biggest things. Well, you didn't ask. Well, how was I supposed to ask when that's an obscenity that's not an everyday life pattern? Just saying. So now we have to tell them. And here we are, expecting disappointment. Going to the doctor already knowing you have a growth or you have a problem. And now you're going to hear what they say instead of saying, okay, well, we finally found out what's going on. Let's heal it. We're going the opposite way. And that opposite way then becomes a very big disappointment. I don't want to go through the pain of having to do this. I don't want to go through the blah, 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 blah. I just want it to go away. So then we become sufferers, right? It's that buffer. It's that suffering buffer. And then the last one is interpreting unnecessary as a threat. So that's intel. Understanding and interpreting uncertainties and threats. What is a threat? What is just talk? And there's a lot of that. And so this is, again, leads into a lack of trust. Overanalyzing motives, you can put this into your 3 categories: people, systems, and self. Every single one of these lack of trust is the reason that there is division, separation, and anger, because it's a total lack of trust in all 3, including ourselves. And if it's not about yourselves, we as a whole, it needs to be, because we knew that a prime energetic factor of all of us, we the people, was not mentally in his mind. He was running the country for 3 or 4 years. That should really upset you as a United States citizen, because that affected your trust of a system. So now you already felt that negate trust of a system, watching them not be punished for their crimes that hurt we the people. So this is huge in systems. Okay. So as judgment softens, space opens. You begin to see more clearly. Not everything is a threat. It's an awareness. Be prepared and know it's plausible. Not everything is safe. Understand there is really some hurt and very ill people in this world. So use your conscious positive thinking into making your choices of decisions. That awareness then becomes discernment, that not everything is safe. Discernment is calm. It's a process. It observes. It steps back, becomes aware. It chooses wisely. This is where trust becomes refined. Where are we refining our trust levels? Not blind, not closed, though aware and open all at the same time, right? Okay. I'm going to take another quick break. Then we come back. I'm going to go into a deeper connection where trust reduces fear. So it's going to go really deep. So we're going to play another beautiful song that they played. So then you can tell me, you like tune number 1 or tune number 2. So this will be tune number 2. You're listening to mbradio.us. My name is MJ. My show here on this channel is called The World of Conscious Positive Thinking. If all of us could change our thoughts into positive thoughts, the world over would love and have peace and alignment. Think about that. We'll be right back.
Peace, love, light. Let your soul arise.
Wake up, beautiful child of the sun. Your journey of truth has already begun.
Thoughts are the seeds, so plant them kind.
The garden of heaven lives in your mind.
Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eye sight. Tune into the light.
MJ whispers in waves of sound.
Messages rising from sacred ground. Words like incense drift through the air. You are divine, be fully aware. Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eye sight. Tune into the light.
Your thoughts are keys. Your breath is prayer. You are the healer you've been waiting for.
Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eye sight. Tune into the light. Tune in, shine on. You're already home.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.net.
All right. We're back. Okay. So, we're going to go into a deeper connection. Trust reduces fear. Fear fuels the ego and distorts our judgment. We've talked about this. So when trust is really strong, our ego softens, our judgments become clearer and less reactive. When trust is weak, the ego hardens, the judgment becomes guarded and biased. Right? Now, that's what we've just been discussing for that last hour. So now we're going to move into trust in people in our systems. So you're asking about the trust on every level, like a personal, collective, psychological, and spiritual. So there's trust in every level out there. And so when you think about these layers that we are all connected with, so then we have to trust our fractures in one place. It often echoes just through all others. Trusting people and the system. To trust in that, the people, you got to trust the people that is still building. Okay, hold up. Sorry. My mouth gets carried away before my brain can register it. So I got to back it up. Okay. We're going to trust in the people is built through our relationships and our consistencies, right? So that's how we build trust, because we're consistent with how we say things, and our relationships are there because we are constantly trusting in our consistency of proving what it is. So why is this important? Trust in people is still built through relationships and consistency, because every time you meet somebody, right, especially if it is a relationship, we call it the 4-year, right? You got a 4-year honeymoon period. Everything is perfect. Nothing can ever be wrong. And if you are fighting it within those first 4 years, I mean, really ugly fighting, walk out immediately. I'm not kidding. Maybe that's a biased judgment, and it probably is, and I shouldn't say it. But those first 4 years, you have to learn trust and consistency. And those first 4 years, if somebody's lying to you, if somebody is cheating on you, if somebody is harassing or bullying you or talking narcissistically around to others, why are you? This is supposed to be honeymoon. Consistency. If they're doing it now, they'll do it later. That is a learned consistency. That is a learned thing from inner child events. They learned that. It can be unlearned, but are you willing? Am I willing? Is anybody willing to suffer through them learning? Maybe there are. Depends. Are you service to others or service to self? Are you going to help them? Or are you just going to cut your ties and say, good luck, buddy? I love you from over here, but I can't deal with this. That is a choice. It's always a choice. And that's the choices you have to make, right? So trusting in systems like the government, institutions, and leaderships, is built through transparency, fairness, and accountability. I am not getting in to left or right, because one can say transparency and the other one says no, because you don't feel it. You don't feel that. You don't have that trust. Why you don't have that trust? Prove that untrust. I think that's what some of your stream medias try to do, is prove that this is trust. But they're not proving it by putting the words that they got and they received. They're just talking to you like me. So you have to trust what they're saying. You have to trust, if I'm teaching something, you have to trust that I have the energy to, or the knowledge or the experience to actually bring it. It's trusting any type in a system, right? Fairness and accountability. Are you going to take the accountability? So accountability is something that leads to honest truth and trust. I'm sorry, I've screwed up. I am, I used to say, I'm only human. And one of my masters goes, really? I had to pause on that for a long time. Really? Right. We're here to make choices and events. We are here to learn by those events that we make those choices. Good, bad, and different. We learn. So when we speak about we the people, we are speaking about collective energy, not just my energy, not just yours, all this world as a globe. When we talk about collective energies, when we speak about we the people. Trust at the level is not restored through words alone. It is restored through transparency, truth, documents, shared responsibility. Each individual carries a piece of this restoration. They have to. They get to. They get to restore balance as they see fit from one administration to another by a majority of people. And you can sit there with your arms crossed, folded, untrusting, and you can have the fear and you can have the anxiousness, and it goes with every administration. So then you're just going to be a miserable bitch. I'm just going to say it for 4 years. Like the people were miserable biatches the last 4. Come on. God created such beauty. And no matter what it is, your movements, look at these movements. No king, you really think it made a difference? They don't make a difference. The process is going to be done. My will be done. when you have collective energy, if my voice matters and I then get 2 million people with my same energetic voice, then as a collective energy, then that's happening. Do I like it? It's a movement. It's a shift. It's an evolvement. We talked, that's the word of the day, evolving. We're moving forward. We already learned the last 4 years what an auto pen does. We already learned what high inflation does. We already learned, how many things are we going to learn? Opening up borders causes horrific trauma and events inside, especially with those who think evil are tearing. We don't have Department of Defenses not to have protection of those that we love and the land that we love. Every country has borders, rules, and laws. We trust that the borders, rules, and laws are being enforced as you promised in this, right? Okay. How we speak, how we listen, and how we respond is all healing. The collective begins with healing self. If you're angry, then you're creating that epic of energy throughout the world. If you throw out peace, love, joy, and happiness and ask for calm, then that is a collective energy that we can all go behind. Bring this to peace. Bring this to surrender. Bring this for an awareness, a higher awareness of transparency for me to understand why this movement. Instead of, I hate him, I will never, and he disgusts me, somebody should take him out. There's so many ugly words I heard in the last 4 years, and this only not even 2 years, is sickening and saddening. Not to flip it. We have a choice to trust a flip pattern. We have a choice to tell our truths. I don't like this because this is what they did, and this is how it hurt my economic growth or my family. Right? 2008, all the houses flipped upside down. How many millions of people had the whole thing upside down? Because of what we're doing right now. Same thing. Bombing, war, taking out the bad guy, the terrorism. Yes. So how we speak, how we listen, how we respond. Healing the collective begins with healing us first. When we push out love, light, and balance, love, light, and balance comes back in. And as individuals begin that shift of evolvement, the collective begins to follow. When both are working, people feel safe. There is a sense of order, balance, and shared purpose. When the transparency and the fairness and the balance and the protection of safety comes in line. Disagreements exist, yet they don't feel threatened for our survival. It is when our survival is threatened, then there is no more trust. There is no more truth to the trust because we feel threatened of what is happening. So what happens when that trust breaks, whether it be individually or collectively? So then we, the people, right, lose that trust in each other or the systems, or the shift is then becomes very noticeable. I don't want to stay within an energy that I don't agree with and that is not balanced or healed. Why? Because it brings energetic levels down, called a dieback. So if you're, and you know the people, you know who they are in your life. You get a phone call, you see the number pop up and you're like, right? Or you're going to a gathering and you're going to end up seeing somebody. You're like, okay, here's the plan. If this person shows up, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. That's we the people. That's what it looks like. It increases that division, that suspicion, and that polarization. People rely only on their inner circles now. They push everybody else out and they become their inner circle. This is what it starts to look like. Resistance to authority, information or guidance, right? These are all becoming noticeable within individuals and collective. You don't want to be near the energy that causes you the lower vibrational frequencies. Why? It brings you down. It makes you depressed. It makes you angry. It makes you tired. It makes you fatigued. It makes you unbalanced, gives you anxiety. Then it comes in fear. Like all these negative lower emotions start happening when this happens. People relying only on their own inner circles. Well, that's not healthy because there's no diversity. There must be diversity for us to evolve, for us to shift, for us to move. Does that make sense? Okay. Resistance to authority, information, or guidance. So now we now have this resistance to cops, to DHS, to ICE. There's the resistance, right? And in people, oh my God, you're a Democrat, I'm not talking to you. Oh my God, you're a Republican, I'm not talking to you. Oh my God, so for the last 40 years, I was talking to you, but because I found out a fact that you are on, I'm not going to like you? Oh gosh. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done, starting with self. Self first. Understand the balance. Understand the beauty of the awareness of what's outside, not the confuffle. The more you talk about it, the worse it gets. Find your trust and your truth. If you can't find trust and truth, figure it out. And then you have the knowledge. You have the experience, and now you have the knowledge. Emotional reactions replacing thoughtful dialogue. If I can have an emotional reaction that is going to give you something else than a middle finger or an F word or some other word going, and just walk away, I'll take that over any sarcastic, ugly, negative words spoke out of people in my realm. Online, on my text, on a phone, on somebody else's page. Why? I'm telling you, I had to learn this. I was one of them questioning, why are you so angry? Why are you so upset? And I would get backlogged. It was just awful. I learned to keep to myself because I don't want that confuffle. I don't want to be in that energy, because then if I'm in the energy, I know me, I'll just back up and won't say a word the whole time and have a perfect little kind of smile, but I won't enjoy myself. I'll be set off. So why would I even go if I know that, right? I trust my emotions and my awareness, so I don't have to be in an event to cause me a lower vibration. Does that make sense? Okay. So at a deeper level, fear then replaces trust, and fear narrows our perception. Wow. So now we're going deep. We're going the rabbit hole. We're getting deeper because now we have fear that is now going, oh my God, can you just imagine the people outside waiting to hurt us? I can't even have my free speech. They're going to hit me. They're going to, whatever. They're going to harm me. Right. It's deep. It's a deep level. And that fear replaces trust. And when that fear replaces trust, it grows into more. It grows into acting out angers, acting out repressions, acting out all of our emotions. And those lower levels, you don't want that. You don't want those lower levels. So, can trust be restored? Yes, though not always back to its original form. That's why it is so imperative to be honest. It is so imperative to tell the truth. It is so imperative not to hurt the trust of the truth. It is imperative, no matter what, you need to put that armor on and then speak. And you got to figure out how to speak without the emotions. Sometimes I speak to the mirror because I see a person. That person might be me, but at least I see somebody. And if I'm angry, I can yell all I want. And then I can look, and some people call me crazy. It's okay, because maybe I am. But Maybe, just maybe, that mirror, if that mirror ever answers me back, man, I don't know. I'm gonna have to take my shotgun too. Anyway, you have to trust it's like a mirror. When intact, it reflects beautifully for you. But if I gotta take my shotgun and shoot it, now I got lines and cracks. Now I don't even know what to trust because it's not right. I can put it all back together, but it still has those lines. So when it was shattered, it can never be perfect to its original. Yes, we can mend it. Yes, we can put it together. Yes, we can do all these beautiful things. What does JD say? I have found honesty to be one of the most freeing things I've done. Absolutely. You know, my father, he beat the pulp for telling the truth. Beat the pulp. You will tell the truth. And even when we did tell the truth, just because of his authoritative figure, and at the time of being the teacher and being the hierophant and being all these things, we would still get it by telling the truth. So then we had to be in our mind frame as a child going, but I did tell the truth and I still got it, right? And go, where's the justice? I love the parents who don't hit you, hit the kid going, you don't hit people, but yet you're hitting the kid. The truth of the trust. Right? So the child then becomes perplexed. Well, I told the truth and you punished me. I told the truth, but I didn't get rewarded for telling the truth. So as a child's mind frame who can't distinguish because it has to learn this experience, this event, and maybe some adults have to learn it, right? The truth always comes out. It's the skeleton in the closet always finds its way out. So get it over with. Speak the truth, tell why the truth, understand that this is obviously a life lesson and event that I'm going to have to go through with you. And I deeply apologize on my part. Father, forgive me, for I've lost my way. Father, forgive them. They have lost their way. We forgot about these little basic things that bring us back to our way, right? So we have to come back into our way. So yes, just like a mirror. So full restoration is rare, very rare without transformation. If you can transform who you are and the other person can transform as well to understand a new way to be together and mergeful and not like this, right? Because why stay with somebody if you're just going to continuously yell at them? Or continuously feel ugly towards them, or continuously not trust them. What is the, MJ, the money? No, I don't trust that. I don't believe in that truth, because you can live in the same household that you just live and start learning to separate and start learning to save and budget monies till that final separation can be done. It's an honoring of both sides. We tried this. It's not working. I'm too unhealed. And me being unhealed, I can't help to heal you as well. So with your unhealed mess and my unhealed mess, we now have this block. And if you're not ready to give way and I'm not ready to give way because of our ego of trusting in truth, I don't know where I'm going, because no matter what you say, I will never believe you. You could tell me that's what you're doing, but I really just don't believe you. That's no way to live. Trust, truth, and then returning into self. Your self is saying, don't trust. Is that your ego, your judgment, or already proven? Was it a mistake? Was there something metaphysical behind the mistake? Was it a physical thing? Was it part and parcel of the actions that you contributed for that person to do that? These are all things we need to think about and be conscious about, instead of just dividing and saying, go F yourself, and then you walk away from the person. Guess what? That energy is going to come back, whether it be that same person or whether it be that same event that you're going to have to go through again because you learned nothing. I love the people in relationships who go right into another relationship, or they cheat with a relationship, and then they try to either come back to fix the relationship that they cheated on, or they walk out of the relationship right into the next relationship as if this person who just cheated on you won't do it again. This person lied to me. You know the person lies to others, but you never thought in a million years he would lie to you. Whew! That hurts. Where's that heart pedal? It's being demolished. When I first met my husband, I told him, I've been cheated on so many times in my life. I hate men. I have a brick wall up. Good luck trying to get that brick wall down. Ozzy ripped it down. To have our own debacles and troubles, but he ripped it down. I had trust. I had faith. He asked me to marry him. It took 9 years for me to say yes. It's not funny, haha. It's smiling because of grace and humility that I got to grow. I got to learn. And he never stopped me from being me. So no matter what other troubles I had in the marriage, he has never stopped loving and allowing me to be me. Yeah, that's a breath. And if you have that same relationship with anybody, it doesn't need to be a spouse, it could be a friend, it could be your government, right? Allowing that person to be me, allowing that person to have their freedom as well, and understand that this is us, but this is also us, right? Oh my gosh, and this is us again. We all live on our journey, but we all yearn to come back into that beautiful foundation that balances our souls, which is companionship of love, and knowing that it's an honest and truthful love. How you have to find that and what the road is or the blocks to break it, that's, unfortunately, that's part of it. It's part of who we are. And that's part of us having to move forward as well. So full restoration is rare without transformation. What often returns is a wiser, more discerning trust, and not a blind trust. How we begin to rebuild that trust on a personal level, consistency. It's back to consistency in words and actions. Are you doing what you said you're going to do? Or you told me something, but then you went and you did everything else, but you didn't tell me everything else that you did. Or finances, couples always have financial issues. One person thinks the other person spends too much, and the other person thinks the other person spends frivolously, and the other person thinks that it's not a need, it's a want, it's not a necessity. And then there's debacles, or there's not enough money at the end when all the wants, needs, and desires are not fulfilled. Then they anger. You know what I'm talking about. The frustration, the fear, the anxiety. So couples have to learn about monies. And sometimes one would make more than the other person. So we have to trust that it is okay to have this union. It is okay that this is what's going to happen. Not, no, you need to meet me and everything that you don't meet me is just mine. Okay, that's not a trust. That's not a balance. You didn't marry the person because of money. You probably at the time didn't make that much at the time. So that's not a trust truth issue. That's more of a greed and a jealous, depending on the side that you're on. So these are just realms of things that we'll go through. Consistency in words and actions, honest communications, even when uncomfortable, telling the truth. It's going to be uncomfortable. Rip it off, move through that energy as quick as possible. Understand that your choice of not telling the truth right now is because the choice that you made, you are now aware that it was not probably the best choice that you could have made. We do this to teach ourselves, and you'll never let that happen again. It was uncomfortable. It caused me heartache. It caused me tears. It caused me pain. It caused me anguish. It caused me anxiety. It caused me high blood pressure. It caused me stress, right? Taking responsibility without deflection. I'm totally aware that I broke that plate. I am totally aware that it was irreplaceable. And I am totally aware. I regret with all my heart and my soul that I didn't take more time and more patience so that didn't happen. And I am extremely sorry, right? These are taking an awareness and having our open communications without deflection. The awareness of taking the responsibility. So allowing time to trust. When a trust is broken, don't push that person, especially if you're the problem that the trust is broken. Don't push that other person. That other person needs time. And it's only that time, that allotable time. And they might come back on you and they might go, I'm getting triggered of an untrust. What is happening? Be honest. If the couple wants to fix it, or the friendships or the collective wants to fix any relationship, I don't care what ground it is, you have got to be able to communicate. If you don't open up your third chakra to your sacral, to your heart, right? These three, the sacral, the heart, and the throat. This is all connected to our fundamental 12 leaves around the heart petals that we have these life lessons or these yearnings to learn these events, right? So honest communications, even when it's uncomfortable, taking responsibility without deflection and allowing them to have their time. Trust can never be rushed. If you try to rush it, it'll come back. There's triggers. Well, let's see how healed we are, and they'll throw one. Let's try this one, see how healed this one is. That's what will happen. So on a collective system, like on our systems and collective energies and levels, transparency instead of secrecy. Once they know that you're keeping secrets, then they start to, that's not what you said, right? This is what you said, and this is now what we see. So then there becomes a transparency issue, because then you're not even going to show us, right? Accountability instead of avoidance. When a reporter asks a question, right, and they don't answer, they walk away, or they'll say, that's a stupid question, or you really think I'm going to answer that? That is sarcastic avoidance. It's not necessary. The easiest thing is, I know you want an answer for this, and because of the safety for all, I cannot respond at the moment. Understand battleship games, understand Stratego, understand these Mattel games back in the 70s and 80s, and maybe we can understand why some of your questions cannot be answered. So it goes both ways. Inclusion in decision making. What do you think if I did this? And then you get everybody's opinion, right? What do you think if I, but when you just go and do something in your communicable area, right? Our homes, right? You live with others, but you're just going to go and do something. And they come in, they're like, what in the world did you just do? Did we even talk about this? Or did you even mention it? No, I just thought I'd just do it. Really? You just thought you'd just do it in a house that belongs to all of us, or an area at work that belongs to all of us. You're just going to do it because you wanted it. Inclusion in decision making. Truth being acknowledged openly. Truths being acknowledged. I need you to know that this came out. I need you to know, if you're not aware of it, how it's going to affect our relationship or how it's going to affect us moving forward. Okay. Truth being acknowledged openly. Rebuilding that trust requires both sides of being a partnerships. It requires both sides. One side can begin the process and keep that, pedal to the metal. This is what we need to do to heal. Though full repair really needs to be a mutual effort. If you're trying to repair something and the other person or the other system is like, okay, just go along with it. No. Why then are they going along with it? Feel that energy. If you know they're just going along with it, then nothing will be healed because it's not their truth. They're not seeing their truth. They're not even trying to mend the heart that they either broke on you or them. They're not even trying to do it. They're just going along with the motions because the risk is too much. Think about people divorcing with children these days. They stay together because the risk of having to spend extras on a house and then extra in alimony and child, they can't afford to live. They'll be on the street. It's accountability. Both sides must participate. One side can begin it, but Both sides need to participate in order for it to be beneficial with the efforts. So the practical steps to mend that broken trust: acknowledge what happened clearly. Acknowledge it. Validate the impact to us, not just the intent. Then demonstrate that change through repeated actions. How? By repetition, consistency. This is who. We're retraining. We're rebranding our brain. We're reconditioning our brain. We're training the ego. We're removing. This is how we have to do this. Consistency. I'll tell Ozzy, I need to become more consistent in my Peloton. Why? Because now that I have more movement that I could feel, I need to make sure that I am assessing the lymphatics. But out of sight, out of mind, and I get busy because my brain just goes 10,000 miles a minute, I may forget that on the bottom level of the home, I need to go down to that Peloton. But nothing's down there for me today that I'm working on. So that would mean that would be one more extra step, but it's the consistency. Do you understand it? So the consistency. So we have to set and respect those boundaries, and we have to allow them, and we have to validate that impact, not just intent, right? So these are just different ways that we can rebuild. There's really no shortcut, especially with trust. There's no shortcut. Consistency over time is the only real proof that you'll ever get in mending a trust. Finding their way back. Father, forgive them. Father, forgive me for not trusting them when they're trying so hard. Father, forgive me. Right? Consistency over time is really the only proof. Counseling and support, yes. Counseling can be very, 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 very helpful, depending on who you go to, right? Especially when trust wounds run very, very deep. I told you I had fear. I didn't know I had. I didn't know that I had a fear of trust. It was my grandmaster who told me, you have a fear of trust. I'm like, what? I don't have a fear of trust. She goes, yes, you do. But I couldn't figure out what my fear was. Fear of trust. I feared trust. I feared the trust in men. I feared the trust in male figures. I feared the trust in our government. I feared the trust of our own knowledge of the military when they injected me with a foreign and experimental thing. I trusted. I must trust. I must have the faith that it was done for purpose. When you find purpose of something that is not in complete and 100 flow, you'll find that that purpose was in flow. You just had your ego filled with, no, it wouldn't go in flow. It went in flow. Maybe you don't like that vibration of that flow, but it went in flow. Okay. So yes, counseling can go, especially to find a neutral space to process these emotions, right? Tools for communication and boundary settings. Where's our boundaries? Where's our sixth sense of space? Where is our safe haven? Where are we most happy and comfortable, right? Insight into patterns that repeat itself. Patterns are never good. When we hear the words, here we go again. Somebody lying to you. Oh my God, do you always lie? Always? He lied again. Again? The words, listen to them. Why does it always happen to me? What, meaning it happened more than once? These are deep-seated patterns that we need to get help with. That's metaphysical, finding those deep-seated patterns and taking, like an onion, taking one layer off at a time, right? Or an artichoke. Take those off, right? So the tools for communication and boundary setting. Insights into patterns that repeat itself. These are all different ways, right? Seeking guidance is not a weakness. A lot of people go, oh, you're a quitter, you went to guidance, you know. Oh, men and their verbiage. So seeking guidance is not a weakness. It's an intentional healing. So where distrust begins truly by our inner child, unfortunately, these are our learned patterns, and this is where we learn our distrust. I told you the story of the child, right? The child told the truth, got in trouble anyway, because the decision of the truth is why he got in trouble. But the child's brain, the cognitive side, isn't developed. That frontal lobe isn't developed. So the decision that they made wasn't the best choice, but got in trouble because it told the truth. So the child's stuck back on the truth factor because that's an inherent mind power center. Trust. It's inherited of our leaf, not our mind power center, our leaf of our heart. It's huge. It's a big one. So is deception learned often? Yeah, it really is. As a child, you learn to decept because you're like, I just told you the truth and you got in trouble. This is bullshit, right? The mind of a child. Patterns like lying, hiding the truth, or manipulation all come from this. These are patterns learned by how you were developed within the first 5 years of your life. So early environments where truth felt unsafe. Listen, the brain is a beautiful Google Nest or what do they call those ring things where they have this huge little data back all the way back here somewhere that your IT techie people can just pull that out. That's the brain of a child. You're like, oh, they're too young to understand, so I can still drink in front of the child. They're too young. No. Under these kids at 2 years old are playing iPads in their cribs. They're using them at 3 years old. They're telling me at 4 years old how to use my damn phone. They are better than a computer. The brain, the mind is so absorbent for survival tactics. So what you think that child can't comprehend, beyond, less than 5 or less than 6, it's already conditioning the mind's ego to respond. You're already teaching it. So all these things, you're like, oh, you probably don't remember. No, but there's a familiarity to the energy, which is causing me to think this way. Remember that. Okay. So early environments where truth felt unsafe. Fear of punishment, rejection, or abandonment. As a child, right? You were rejected from, I don't know, the popular kids, right? Oh, you were a bandy dandy. Well, we don't talk to bandies. We're the cheerleaders. Or, oh, you're an athlete. You're an athlete. So the deception of me being an athletic woman all immediately turned into I was a lesbian because I like sports. Deception, right? These are rejections and abandonments due to isolations of trusting a system, right? The click, right? Learn survival behaviors from your childhood. Well, when you know you're not in the clique or you're not in these groups, right, for this rejection or the punishment because you thought a certain way, looked a certain way, so the bullies decide to pick on you in school, right? Right. This is our child perception. This is our child learning the trust, the fear of trusting. And it all settles back in. This connects to what psychology calls conditioning and adaptive behavior. You are conditioning the child's mind to think like this. This is what is going on in our world today because nobody paid attention to the Gen Xers and how they were parenting those children and what they were doing. In the 80s, there was no more physical discipline in schools, whether you believe it or not. It could have something to do with how they're being taught and their parents, how they have to teach. I'm not saying every kid needs to be hit. I don't believe in that, but I do believe that there's other things and not have to worry about politically corrects and learn the responsibility of behavior, right? Morals. Where's your morals? Where's your moral judgments? Where's your concepts? Are you teaching the child to be true? The child told you a story of a choice and a decision, and it's a bad decision and a bad choice that he made. So instead of explaining to the child that they're being punished because of the choice that they made, not the truth of the story, then it changes the whole parameter of dynamics of trust and truth. You trusted the child to tell you the truth. But if you're punishing the child to tell the truth without explanation, the child is no good. It'll end up lying and deceiving as an adult because you haven't been able to separate the two. And maybe now as an adult, you can unpack it, unfold it, and learn the difference of the two. Many patterns of distrust begin long before we are even aware of them. As children, we learn, is truth safe? Is honesty welcomed? Is vulnerability protected? If honesty created rejection, if vulnerability created pain, the body learns to adapt, to hide, to protect, to survive itself. That's the ego. And those patterns then can carry into our adulthood. Not as conscious choices. It's the unlearned conscious practices that allow us as beings to follow what was learned. It's not a conscious choice, though as learned responses, this is where compassion becomes powerful in each and every one of us, finding the compassion of somebody else's choices that were not accurate. Because what was learned can now be seen. And what is seen can be shifted. Yeah. The important part is what is learned can be unlearned. But it has to want that shift to evolve. So is there fear and trust? There is almost always fear underneath broken trust. No matter who, no matter what, and no matter what was trying to redefine the broken trust, you will always find an underlining broken trust. Fear of being hurt again. That hurt way too much. It was total unrespected. You disrespected me. Fear of losing that control. And the fear of vulnerability. These are the fears that come with somebody breaking a truth or a trust to another person or hiding the truth, knowing it will cause diminished or pain. So trust requires openness. Fear resists that openness. So rebuilding trust also means working through fear and not ignoring it. Rebuilding trust is not quick at all. Ask me. It's been a road. And it is not forced. It is demonstrated with consistency and repetition, through truth, through aligned actions. Trust begins to return when words match your behavior. Accountability is present. Your energy around you becomes within an openness of love and balance. Truth is spoken clearly, not perfectly, but clearly. Though, honestly, and for some of the ones who are rebuilding, trust within themselves. Trust you can do this. Trust and have faith that God will now point you in the right direction. Lessons learned. Thank you. With grace and humility, with all respect. I learned. It begins even smaller. Trusting your awareness. Are you aware of air? Trusting your intuition. Trusting your ability to walk away when something feels misaligned. Trust is rebuilt one alignment moment at a time. We must align all events and all moments that bordered all that we were unhonest about. One at a time. In the spiritual metaphysical layer, spiritual trust and in the divine, in God that we trust on all of our coins, in God we trust, right? Trust in the divine is deeply personal and often shaped by life experiences. For many, it develops through personal moments of guidance, peace, or unexplainable alignment to that energy. Our faith traditions and teachings, and our inner knowing that grows over time. For others, trust for a divine is harder, especially after a loss, a trauma, or a disillusionment. Father, why have you forsaken me? Why did you kill them? Why did you take them? Why did you allow that to happen? Then the whys start coming out because of anger, because of confusion, because of disgust, because of our heart was just crushed. A grounded way to approach this is spiritual trust is less about proof and more about relationships and experience that you ascertained for the moment When we come into our present moment and you don't validate that love for somebody that you feel for, that is on you. It is that trust that you grow every day within. So when that person does depart this physical earth back into loving arms of God, you feel their presence, you feel them because you validated them, you honored them, you know them. You have faith and you trust that faith. So it grows through connections, reflections, and presence, not force. The idea of being taken home, going back to God, to Creator, and trusting that's what's going to happen when the physical comes out, that afterlife is rooted in your faith traditions. Whether one believes this as literally, symbolically, or not at all, the core question then becomes, can I trust that my experience and my experience and my existence has meaning beyond what I see in the moment? That answer unfolds differently for each person. Now we enter that deeper question. Can I trust that my existence has meaning beyond what I see now? This is where now, like, spirituality becomes personal. Not taught, not forced, experienced into heart space and into core of soul. Some feel the divine through faith, some through energy, some through nature, some through silence. There's that chill, that oof, that just the EBGBs, right? Ooh, I felt whatever that was, or a cold presence going through, or there's something that's just not making me feel good. You trust that internal intuitive instinction. You trust it, right? So then that trust in divine doesn't arrive, but that trust in divine does not arrive as proof that divine exists, because our ego won't let go, right? Moments that feel guided, moments that feel held, and moments that feel larger than logic. And then over time, those moments begin to build something quiet, an inner knowing, not loud, just continuously pressing and not demanding, just there. That steady pulse, that steady vibration, that steady beat, that's where trust grows there into that divine energy. Knowing the unknown, but knowing it exists. And you're like, how in the world? Coincidence? No, it's not. Not from being told, though from being felt. So I'm going to wrap this all up. Trust is not meant to make you naive. It is meant to make you open with awareness and act in choices of accordingly to tell the truth in order for the trust to connect. When broken, it asks you to now grow. Clear in your boundaries, stronger in your discernment, and deeper in your understanding of self and others when not. And these will be then what you need to exercise or practice or learn. When trust exists within people and within the systems, there is a beautiful flow that encourages abundance. But when people block that flow for that encouragement and sending another energy to intercept it, it then becomes unbalanced and it becomes disaligned. There can be cooperation, or there can just be a total chaos. This is the trust in the truth where you expire, where you have to heed, allowing the system to do for you if you don't have the knowledge of why or how. There is movement forward. Even in disagreements, there's still respect. There's no respect right now on that hill for either side. Completely. This is a dysfunction of trust and truth. This is a dysfunction of moral high ground. This is a dysfunction of fear. Though when trust fractures, we begin to see each other as threats instead of reflections. We question our motives. We tighten our inner circles. And something deeper happens. We disconnect from the feeling of that belonging into a system, that belonging into a family, into a group, into a job, or we feel that disconnected from ourselves. The system begins to feel distant. People begin to feel unappreciative, unpredictable, and frightened. And then the heart begins to close, layer by layer by layer, not out of anger, out of protection, because it doesn't trust. So, in closing, as we close the space, that was a lot. Breathe into that. Come back into center. Start becoming aware of air. Because air has truth, has trust, has balance, has alignment, has purpose. When you can trust that you see air, all this other stuff will be very easy for you, I promise. So we start small. And we start opening up our closet of skeletons, because if we have skeletons and we have dirt that we didn't want, we have to start with self-trust. As we close the space, return to the question, can I trust that my experience holds meaning beyond what I see? You do not need a final answer today. Sit with it, process it. You only need a beginning, a little stepping stone for you to start. Trust the awareness that brought you here. Trust the questions rising within you. Trust the unfolding of your own understanding. Everything does not need to be known for others. I'm just going to throw it out there. The Epstein files. I have no business about it. Why am I raising, or why would, if I'm not there and I'm not present and I wasn't the girls and I wasn't the tormentor and I wasn't the proper, why do I have that? I don't want that knowledge. And people go, well, you want, no, that's their journey. I didn't pick a senator, or I didn't pick a governor or a congressman or somebody else because of what they did in their personal. I understand they're going to tell me, shame on me, MJ. These are predators. They need to belong in jail. Yes, everything that you're saying, I understand, but I can't sit here in judgment. It's not my truth. It's not yours either, technically, unless you have a loved one involved in all of that. It's not your business. You must trust the process. You must trust the system to get to the bottom. But because you want it now, Daddy, doesn't mean it's going to happen now. It's going to happen. But they need to make sure that they have, so they can't kick them out. Patience. Patience always learns into trust when we have that. When we pull our energies out of the chaos, we trust. It's all going to play out. It's all going to be the way it's supposed to be anyway. So stop our human egos, because all it does is ruins our trust, and it ruins our truth. Trust the questions arising with you. Trust the unfolding of your own understanding. Everything does not need to be known for something deeper to be true. Thank you for sitting in this space. Thank you for allowing yourself to feel without prejudices. Until next time, stay aware, stay grounded, stay open. Trust what you see, trust what you hear, trust what you smell, trust what you know. And allow truth to always come out. Because when that petal of trust is blocked on the heart, there's a lot of other things as a domino that will take it down. You're listening to MJ at the World of Conscious Positive Thinking. Thank you for allowing me the time with you today. Thank you for sharing my Mondays with you, my Monday mornings. May you, each and every one of you, be carried by angels with peace, love, grace, joy, happiness, and abundance of everything that you desire most. Stay happy, stay hippie, and stay beautiful as you are. And I'll see you next week, Monday, right here, same time, same bat channel. Love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, We want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.